you can accept the dynamic for what it is. You could even choose to stay in the dynamic, but you are choosing to live a life that feels very neutral and mundane and alone in a relationship, in a marriage, in a partnership. Or you can choose to relearn each other. Welcome to the Dating Deja Vu YouTube channel, the channel where we talk about your patterns, your pitfalls, and your personal growth in modern dating. I'm your host, Christina Hathaway, marriage and family therapist and dating and relationship expert. And in today's episode, we are talking about, are we roommates or romantic partners? Yes, when love feels lonely. Ew, we hate it. So if your dating and relationship love life look a lot of bit of the same, it might be deja vu, but it also might be you. So let's figure it out together. What is up, Deja Crew? Welcome back to another episode of Dating Deja Vu. I'm so excited to have you here. And today we're talking about something that is a bit heavy. We're on this heavy trick, heavy tip. So track. I don't know what word I wanted to use there, but whatever it is, we're on it. And it's this concept of, are we romantic partners or are we roommates? This is where the love starts to fizzle out in relationships, and we might be headed to breakup, but we also just might need to be headed to like coaching or therapy. So be honest with me, what was the last time you kissed your partner? Not just a peck, of course, before work, but like a real passionate kiss. When's the last time you did that? When was the last time you made eye contact with them without a phone in between you? Or you laughed so hard because you're looking at their group chat at work about whomever and you're just cracking up, or you're watching a funny show together or talking about something and laughing. When was the last time we did that? Because here's the thing. You might be sleeping in the same bed, splitting the mortgage, watching Love is Blind, but you're wondering, like, is this still romantic? Do I feel like I'm in a partnership, or do I feel like I'm in a roommate situation where we have shared responsibilities and a Costco membership? So today's episode, we're going to talk about with those long-term couples who look great on paper, but are feeling a little bit like coworkers when it comes to their home lives. So we're going to unpack that quiet crisis that happens behind closed doors. So roommate energy, how do we shift into roommate energy? The shift happens slowly. And we first, maybe the sex slows down, obviously, when you are first together, you're usually having sex all of the time. It's really wild, fun, and free. But then over time, sex slows down. Why does it slow down? Because I think we often use sex to catch people. So we pretend to be a freak in the sheets and we're not. So then we finally come back to our level of sexuality that suits us as we get more comfortable in the relationship. But then on top of that, the deep conversations slow down. Talking about your innermost thoughts, your struggles. Just yesterday, my husband and I were talking about body image. And it was a really great conversation, and he was really sweet in it. And that's really vulnerable, right? But those deep conversations wind down, and then it just becomes logistics. Like, did you take out the trash? Did you pay the water bill? Did we RSVP to Jenny's wedding? So then it just becomes logistics. Now, as someone who's married and been together with my husband over 10 years, like, yes, the day-to-day can become mundane. Is it as fun as it was when we were first dating? No, but there's aspects of our relationship that are still exist when we first dated. And one of those is like, I don't know what it is, because I think when we met, I lived in this high rise in downtown Phoenix, and he'd come pick me up at my door. So I'd have to go up 17 floors and then I'd be dressed up. And we did all these events. And he always looked nice and I always looked nice. And he'd be like, you look gorgeous. And we still have that. And it's not mundane because we don't do it all the time. But like just this weekend, I felt that little spark, and we were sitting in a booth and there was a little room between us. I was like, scoot over, come here. Rather than if it was a roommate situation, we'd be sitting across from each other. I was like, come closer, sharing food, getting dessert together, like all those things. But for other people, creeping into roommate energy, on the outside, everything looks fine, but on the inside, everything feels numb. It just feels numb. It feels mundane. And if you're thinking to yourself, this is a thought I've had in previous relationships, like, is this it? Is this enough? Is this the life that I'm going to live? That's something I used to say to myself. You're not alone. Like, obviously, I'm sharing that I said it. And it's not always about this, again, like I said, it's not about this big deals and this big attraction, but it's about attention and paying attention. So let's break down stress plus busyness plus parenting plus trauma equals disconnection, right? Most people don't realize that they've disinvested emotionally from a relationship. And the reason why is because everything looks like they're doing fine. Like they say, I'm not a doctor, I only play one on TV. Like I'm not in a relationship, I only play one on TV. You're playing this TV relationship because let's face it, like actors in a TV show usually aren't having sex, right? They're just playing that role. And the concept is, but we're still together, we're still us, but there's no intimacy in us. I think about a couple of friends who they seem very disconnected and he has his own life outside of the family, like social life. And it makes me sad to watch them. It makes me sad to watch their relationship be a bit disconnected. I don't want to say anything. Hopefully, I don't think they'll know who I'm talking about, but I don't want to say anything because I feel like that can hurt their feelings, but it's it's sad. It's sad to watch. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I've felt that way. I talked about like our struggles with just getting like sex and getting older, but we put in the effort to fix that. And if it's not sex, it's also just the hand holding and the feet across the lap and the kisses. Or I did this afternoon. I will go into his office. He knows when I walk into his office, I'm coming to sit on his lap and say something stupid, and then I walk out. And that's great. We love that. Okay. So, hidden loneliness of functional relationships. You can still be in love and feel alone. You can absolutely love them and feel so, so alone. You can be touched and still feel like they didn't touch you. You can be loyal and still feel like someone abandoned you emotionally. Both can be true. Both can be true. You can love someone so much and want even have sex and just feel like there's nothing there. And that's a heartbreak of roommate energy. It's not this dramatic thing. It's not this big chaotic breakup. It's just empty. You feel empty, they feel empty. It shows up when we have a lack of curiosity into our partner's world. There's no kind of real repair after arguments. We just get over it. I'm a big proponent of, hey, the reason why I said that or the reason why I reacted that way is X, Y, and Z, just to help my husband understand. Like we're very different in our approach to like on our thinking. And it's, for me, I want to be as efficient as possible, but he wants to be as inquisitive as possible. And I'm like, so I try to explain that to him so he understands. But when we're in roommate energy, there's no explaining. There's no care. It's just like, that's just another thing. We often are on our phones more screen time instead of FaceTime with each other, and scheduled sex, if any, and no foreplay outside of the bedroom, right? So there's no in the kitchen, kind of up behind, like grabbing booty, making out, or whatever that looks like. It's just scheduled. It's very militaristic, if you will. And here's the kicker. If you're the one who feels it, then you might start like overdoing it, right? Like over functioning. So maybe if I initiate more sex, like maybe if I book that trip to whatever place, maybe if I lose weight or change something about myself or stop nagging or trying new positions, maybe we're bargaining, right? That's not intimacy. That's a part of the grief cycle is bargaining. And you're already grieving the loss. So what do we do? Where did the intimacy go? So in a lot of relationships, there's this kind of yin and yang, right? We have a masculine energy and a feminine energy. We have the giver, we have the receiver, we have the playful person, we have the grounded person. Whatever framework you use in your relationship, healthy relationships kind of need this like tension, right? It kind of needs this yin and yang. But when we fall into roommate energy, we fall into this neutral ground, right? Think about Sweden. It's like neutral. Or Switzerland. Switzerland? Yeah. Just like neutral. Just like there. Boring, right? We want a little bit of energy, a little bit of not war, but a little bit of drama, a little bit of passion. And when we get to neutral, like the car's not going. It's not going forward, it's not going backwards, it's just in neutral, right? And so that polarity gets killed, that difference of each other and understanding those differences and how those show up in the relationship and all of those things like that becomes the killer of the relationship. And you're still showing up for each other because again, you can love each other, but you're not showing up as lovers. You love them, but you're not showing up as lovers. And again, we need to find a way to handle this. So how can we reignite, right? Without forcing like stupid date nights. We need to name it. We need to name it, not blame it. I miss us, or you never touch me anymore. You never touch me in a way that doesn't feel calculated or scheduled. Start with vulnerability. Start with intimacy. This isn't a time to accuse one or the other. This is a time to be truthful in how did we get to neutral? What happened? We were foot was on the pedal. We were going, and then it's like a screeching halt, and we are just in neutral, and we have lost that love and feeling. Then, as we've talked about before, use those micro moments, the 6-second kiss, the 2-minute check-in, kind of like I do when I sit on his lap, and I'm just like, oh, what are you working on? Or he got this game thing, so I'm like, oh, are you playing your game or whatever? Talking about the dog. 20-second hand on the back when they pass in the hallway, right? Now you might be being like, why so long? It's connection. It's going a little bit past the comfort zone of your default of, right? And Mark and I will do the 6-second hug. We will do the 3 kisses. We will really try to work on this. Now, we're not perfect. It's something that we definitely need more practice with, and we know that. We want to have rituals over grand gestures, right? So, like I said, we have coffee together in the morning. We walk our dogs on Saturdays. That's one of our rituals. We usually get lunch or dinner somewhere, just the two of us. We will lay in our bed and watch Netflix. One of my favorite things, and he'll cook dinner and we'll eat it from our bed. One of my favorite things to do. What are your rituals? Maybe you play pickleball together. Maybe you have, like my parents used to take a walk after our dinner and go to we called it the little store, and they'd get us snacks, and my dad would get like a beer and my mom would get whatever. And that was what they did. They had their time. You could revisit old things too, right? Old playlists, photos, videos, whatever it is. Then we need to reclaim your own energy. You can't seduce someone if you feel like a shell of yourself. Oftentimes that neutrality happens because we're getting so caught up in our lives and our stresses and our emotions. We're not taking care of ourselves. And it's at the expense of ourself and thus the expense of our relationship. And so reconnect to your vitality, your body, your hobbies. What gives you that sense of play and excitement? I love being creative. That's something that I get to do on a daily basis. I just went to this event where I was able to hang with some really amazing women, and it really got me going and excited. My husband came with me, and it was an event in California, and he was like, yeah, let's go. And that was really amazing. And while we did it together, like I was able to take that time and go to that event, and it was something for me. I continually take care of my body. I continually take care of my evolving body because I am 42. I'm going through different changes, but learning new things about myself. And for Mark, he's very even kill, but he's open to learning. Like we were talking about perimenopause, and he was asking questions, and like he's just becoming more like he's gaining more wisdom and more maturity. So he's getting into his self, right? And his energy. And we want to ask better questions. That's my last one. Not how was your day, but like what made you feel powerful today? One of the things we worked on. You can try like the rose and thorn. You can try like high or low. You can also say, what's something I don't know you're carrying right now? What's something that you need help with that you're not asking? Who's someone that is living rent free in your head because you're frustrated with them? So if you're the only one who wants more, you cannot reanimate a relationship by yourself. But you can disrupt the cycle. You can ask, do we want to stay in this dynamic or do we want to relearn each other as if you're starting over again? Now you have a choice. You can accept the dynamic for what it is. You could even choose to stay in the dynamic, but you are choosing to live a life that feels very neutral and mundane and alone in a relationship, in a marriage, in a partnership. Or you can choose to relearn each other. And if your partner resists, that's information for you. That is data. It's not a verdict, but it's a signal, right? Okay, well, why? What is the resistance here? This is where counseling or coaching comes in. It's time to have really hard conversations to understand why the resistance is there. And it's time to ask, what are we choosing or what are we protecting by not being intimate? Intimacy, into me, you see, and starting to learn that. And then you have a choice. I would do the coaching, I would do the counseling, and you have a choice. But I'm guessing you still love each other. You want the best for each other. It's really sad sometimes when people lose a partner and they feel so much regret because they fell into roommate energy and they feel so regretful that there was so much we could have done and so many memories and connections. And it's really sad. Don't let that be the reason why you reignite and you relearn each other. You do not have to live in roommate energy. You can fix this because, again, you know that you love each other and that is your person. Now, if it's not, that's another conversation. But if it feels like that is your person, like I love my husband to death, even in our hardest times, like I know he's my person and I don't know what I would do without him. And so in the moments where we need to relearn each other, we will. And that's a part of the process. My eyes are tearing up. So before I have a full-blown crying attack, roommate energy doesn't mean the relationship is over, but it does mean that something's missing. You deserve to be chosen, not just tolerated. You deserve those deep kisses, those moments, the cuddles, the eye contact. You deserve all of that. And if that's not your reality right now, you are not failing. We just need to wake up that there's a deeper issue at hand. I hope you guys found this helpful. If you are interested in coaching with me, you can check out the Clarity Call link in the show notes below. I have a very small amount of openings for coaching clients. So if this is something you are interested in, signing up sooner than later is going to be helpful, or you may be put on a wait list for that as I'm getting busier because of this podcast. We love that. Other than that, if you haven't already, make sure to follow us if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, or if you're watching me on our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. And I'm going to leave you the way I always do, reminding you it might be deja vu, but it also might be you. Talk to you next time.